What is up? Happy Saturday, Surgeaholics, as we are about 2 hours away from kickoff in Norman, Oklahoma, as Oklahoma will be taking on the Houston Cougars. Been a great Saturday of football so far. Hope everybody's doing okay. What's up, Chester, Scott? Big game for Tennessee tonight, Scott. Be interesting to see how Nico does on the road. Um, Been a good day of football, I tell you. Before we kind of get to the OU talk, let's talk a little bit of just about the football today. Um, Texas just steamrolled Michigan. Texas looked really good. I don't think anybody can say they didn't. They looked really good. They looked like a playoff team to me, and they put it to Michigan. Their offense put up a lot of yards against supposedly a really good defense. So Texas, really good performance. Ewers played well. Chester said, if it ain't OU, it ain't me. Hey, we're going to be talking a lot of OU. I'm just saying it was some good football today. Arkansas had a complete meltdown by Arkansas. They should have won that game. Listen to this yard difference. Arkansas like 648 yards, OSU 350 something, and they lost. Just sucks. I mean, they should have won that game. K-State had a barn burner with Tulane, which OU fans, Tulane's coming to Norman next week. Tulane game is going to be a little bit of a test. I'm not saying OU's going to lose the game. What I'm saying is I think it's going to be, for a non-conference, I think it sets up great for Oklahoma. You have the first week, you dominate Temple. They're not very good. The next week, you have Houston. Better talent-wise than Temple, but they're still not very good. You should roll. Tulane next week, I think, sits at a perfect spot for Oklahoma. And hear me out why. Because I think it's good that you will have a test before Tennessee, but it's a game you should win. So, yeah, it'll be a little bit of a test, but you should win that game, and then you got Tennessee. It's better than playing a bad team before Tennessee. And, yeah, Penn State didn't look good. Keelan agrees. Going to be a great preparation game for Tennessee. That's right. And Chester, you can say that. Maybe that will be. I'm just saying it'll be a good test. Tulane's a good team. They've been good for the last few years. So I expect that to be a good game. OU should win, though. And they should probably win double digits. But, yeah, Auburn. I'm watching Senior Cowboy. I don't know if you're watching the game, if anybody's watching it. I'm not impressed with Auburn's quarterback, Peyton Thorne. Not impressed. And for an offensive guy like Hugh Freeze, they don't look that great right now. Now, we'll see. It's one game. I think there's been some bad performances all around college football today. Notre Dame looks awful tonight compared to last week. So, I mean, I think it's kind of all around, and that's kind of what happens sometimes from one week to the next. Bagman says Okie Light and Arkansas, two awful teams, nothing to see there. Yeah, OSU was very surprising. They kind of came out kind of just nonchalant, which I thought was kind of interesting. Tulane will test OU all around. I kind of agree. You'll get a good taste of kind of what OU. Northern Illinois is about to take the lead again. Wow, unbelievable! If Notre Dame loses that game, you talk about just a horrendous performance after beating A&M last week. Yeah, you're right. A&M's quarterback was bad. Okay, let's move on to some OU talk. Game's in under 2 hours. They got the throwback uniforms. Jeremy is at the game. He might join us here in a minute. He's at the game, walking around the tailgating area. All the rest of the Sooner Surge people are there, so it's good time for them. I'm holding down the fort here, too far away for me to go to this game, but I'm going to try to get to another one. But that should be a good game too, Sooner Cowboy. Let's talk about OU. Offensive line-wise, who we think? Who you thinking? Hickman going to get the roll out there at center? Is he going to play? I don't think so. Hatchett? I don't know. I don't think so. I think you might do I don't know if Hatchett or Hickman will play tonight. I really don't. Jay, please do me a favor and say hi to Sandy. What's up, Sandy? Hope you're doing well. Hi, Sandy. Braden's going the game as well. Good. Hope y'all, if you're going the game, drop it in the chat. But offensive line-wise, I don't know if Hickman's playing. I don't know if Hatchett's going to play. That would lead me to think, and I agree with Space here. Thanks for joining, Space. I think you're going to see a healthy dose of Ozida tonight. I really do. I'm not sure on EPL. EPL will play, I think, but I don't know how much. I think you're going to see quite a bit of Ozida. Just coming from me. Now, I'm not there. I don't know. I'm not an insider. I just think with a lot of injuries they may have, I think you could see Ozida a little bit more. And let's face facts. Ozida, when he was in there last week, I thought he played pretty well. So I really did. I thought he played well. So got to do better on third down. Keelan, you're 100% right. 1 for 12 is pitiful. Pitiful. It's got to be better than that. And I think it will be. I mean, how could it be worse? I mean, that was about as bad of an offensive performance on third downs that I've seen in a long time in Oklahoma. Now, let's think about the history of Brent Venables' game twos, okay? Year one, Kent State rolls into town, and OU leads that game at halftime 7-3. Not a good performance. And their last drive of the half is when they scored the 7. It was not good. Jeff Lebby coaching offense, it wasn't good. Last year, game 2, SMU, not good offensively. It was one of the worst performances of the year offensively. So I'm hoping tonight will be better because last week wasn't great offensively. I think you got to take a step in the right direction. I'm interested to see what people think about O-line and also about wide receiver. Somebody's going to have to step in that wide receiver room. Somebody's got to step up tonight because Farouk out. Gibson out. Anderson on the fence. I don't know. I don't think he's probably going to play. I think they hold him out. So who's it going to be, guys? I mean, you got Brennan Thompson, who just played okay to me. I don't think he played anything great last week. You got the Mount Zions with 2 Zion guys, Zion Reagans and Zion Kearney. One of them going to step up. You have Petaway. We've heard a lot about Petaway, but never have seen it yet. So is it going to be him? Hester? Hester's listed as a starter on depth chart. We all know that depth chart doesn't mean a whole lot these days, but will Hester be the guy, and will he actually do something when he plays this time? I think they're going to be very physical tonight, Oklahoma. I think they're going to win the game. Defense is going to play great, but I think you got to see some things offensively. I've talked about this all week in some videos we've done. You have to start establishing an identity offensively. This isn't Lebby. This isn't Lincoln Riley's offense. This is Seth Luttrell's offense. What are you going to hang your hat on, Seth Luttrell? What's it going to be offensively? Are you going to hang your hat on the run game when you need it on third down? Because it can't be 3rd and 8 and throw 4-yard passes. Are you going to hang your hat on Deion Burks and throw it to him 12 to 15 times a game? If you go back to last year, they hung their hat on Derek Stoops a lot. And so is Burks going to get a lot more action? Are you going to spread the ball around on offense? Are you going to use your tight end a lot? What's it going to be? I'm interested to see how Seth Luttrell offense evolves into his offense. Forget Jeff Lebby. He's gone. It's got to be a Seth Luttrell offense now. What's that going to be? Timothy says Houston only managed to score 7 at home against UNLV. If we let them score more, to me, Timothy, it's not about how much Houston scores. It's about how OU plays defensively. You could have a fluke play and they get a touchdown or two. To me, it's how dominant are they in the trenches again on the defensive line. They absolutely dominated Temple, and they should have. Temple's not a very good team. They should also dominate in the interior again tonight, I believe. So I'm interested to see that and see how well they are defensively as far as last week. I think the perfect word that you could use, somebody used it in one of our live shows sooner, Michael, was connected. A very well-connected unit defensively. I think you see that again tonight. I think this team defensively has a chance to be very elite and win them games this year on their back. Now, we'll see. Says over under 7 total penalties for Oklahoma. I'll take the under. I'll take the under on that. How about this? Over under. OU scores 50. Over under. Drop it in the chat. OU scores 50 tonight. Over under. Drop it in the chat. Who's your Sooners standout tonight, guys? Who's going to be the player of the game in your opinion? Drop that in the chat as well. I got offensively tonight. I got Javonte Barnes. And I think Javonte Barnes over 50. Timothy says, I think Javonte Barnes last week didn't get a whole lot of carries. I think part of that also was because Bill Beaton, or I saw the chat, DeMarco Murray wasn't coaching. But Javonte Barnes looked good on that one run around the outside. Talking to Daniel Brooks last night on our live. He came on the live show. He talked about he thinks Javonte Barnes is the best back on the team. Now, we'll see. I think he gets more carries tonight, and I think he does something with it. And I think we come out of this game saying, wow, Javonte Barnes may be back as far as after their injury. Bauer Sharp, a couple beats of Bauer Sharp. Scott says under 50 for OU tonight. Taylor Tatum. I saw a couple Taylor and Deion Burks or Taylor Tatum. Another Tatum here, over 50. Barnes goes off Scott B. I think Scott's with me on the Barnes thing. I think he thinks he's the best running back. I mean, if you think, let's just take these three running backs: Gavin Sawchuk, Javonte Barnes, Taylor Tatum. Out of those three, who do you think's the more physical back? I think it's Javonte Barnes. Speed-wise, I mean, obviously, Gavin Sawchuk's the fastest back. I think Tatum's right there. But I did see a very quick step with Barnes last week. I think maybe his confidence level's there. Maybe he's shaking that injury off a little bit. And that's right. And that's the word, Michael. That's the word Daniel used last night. Former running back Daniel Brooks on the live last night said, very explosive. And, you know, he knows running backs pretty well. He played the position, played with a lot of great running backs. Samaj P. Ryan, Joe Mixon, we could go down the list. So he knows what to look for, and very explosive, I think. I agree with that, Michael. Space has got to go Sawchuk for the best of the three, but Barnes might fit better if our O-line can't open the consistent holes. Yeah, I would agree with that. Physical, but we got to see some holes tonight. I've watched a lot of football today, guys, and you see teams that you would not think are very good offensive lines open up massive holes. And so OU's got to have some of those plays. I'm not saying you have to do it every time, but there needs to be some big holes to run through on some plays tonight. Figure it out, whatever it is offensive line-wise. You know what? This is the University of Oklahoma. Even the guys that are second string and on the two deep can play football. So if a guy is not healthy and he's banged up, and to me, play somebody that may be playing against Tennessee. If these guys are banged up now, are they going to be banged up against Tennessee? You got to get some guys out there and get them some reps. I think Ozada is a guy that can play really well. I think you got to get him in there. I am very intrigued to see what they do at center, though, because center to me is a key position on the O-line. Not just that, with Jackson Arnold, with the blitzing, with everything that involves. They put a lot on their center at the University of Oklahoma for making calls. So is it time to see Josh Bates? Is it time to see Josh Bates tonight? I mean, we've heard all the talk about for 2 years. Is it time to see him on the field? We'll see. And Dalpos, this is a great comment. How much of a difference do you think Jake Taylor makes? We'll find out tonight, because I think he's playing, and it goes along with this right here. Why haven't our O-line been playing big and nasty? Well, he's probably the nastiest one out there from what I've heard in practices and stuff. He's a pretty nasty guy, nasty dude. So maybe that'll change the attitude a little bit. But maybe put some young guys out there and try to get nasty with these O-line. Now, let's see what happens. I want to see Arnold sling the ball and put up some passing yards, plus have a great running record tonight. I would like to see that as well. What do you think about somebody give me an update on the Notre Dame score? I'm not watching. I'm doing this live. Somebody update me if you can, please. Thank you. Watching Georgia right now, they have 3 5-stars on their line. Facts. I know they do. Georgia gets 5 stars all over the place. That's not a surprise. I want to see pancakes. I'd like to see that too. Just like what Creed Humphrey did the other night in the Chiefs game, just mauled people on that reverse. Unbelievable. 13-14 Notre Dame. So, man, Northern Illinois did not score again. Okay. A source very close to the program told me the O-line to jail we're going to have to get past week 7 first. Well, let me just say this. And if this is, I don't know who the source is. If that's the case, this is not OU's year to go do anything, because you cannot wait till week 7 to jail. You have too many big games before then. That's a problem. If they're saying that, then you're saying guys like Hickman, Bates, Hatchett are not going to be healthy. I don't know. You got to get guys out there. If it's Ozida, get him out there. SMU. What happened to them last night? BYU took it to. Beat SMU at SMU, or was that game at BYU? I can't remember. I think it was at SMU. There's been some weird games, some weird outcomes. I'm not going to lie. Penn State looked pitiful today after looking pretty good last week. So ACC's back. ACC's getting one team in the playoff. That's it. It's probably going to be Miami. They look, bar none. We'll see what they do today, but they look pretty good. Michigan has 0 offense. That's right. And how good is Michigan really? I know Texas looked really good, and I am not going to be the person that sits there and says, "Well, Michigan isn't very good. Isn't very good. That's why Texas destroyed them." Texas played really good. Texas looked really good. Texas looked like a playoff team. I don't think anybody can deny that Texas looked really good. So, but how good is Michigan? I don't know. I don't think Michigan makes the playoff. When I look at that Big Ten right now, Ohio State, Oregon, and then what? Maybe one other team. I don't dare I say USC. Dare I say Iowa? Don't really want to. But I'm just saying, like the Big Ten. I think Michigan. I don't think they're getting there this year. I did not see the result of that. How far he was hurt. And Michael, I'm not saying no, you won't. I'm not. I mean, Texas is not unbeatable. That's not what I'm saying. But hey, I do think the Texas Georgia game in Austin, I think Texas could play with Georgia. Space says Michigan is average. Texas is very deserving of a top 3 ranking. Yeah, you're right. They looked really good, really good. So, see us beating Tennessee. Tennessee is going to be the barometer for Oklahoma. Well, I'll say that Tulane's going to be kind of a pre-barometer, but then Tennessee is going to look like the barometer for me. I think, but I do think we're going to find out more about Tennessee tonight, ladies and gentlemen, because I do think NC State will slow that game down and try to mess that game up and make it kind of muddy and see what they can do to Tennessee. So we'll see what they come out of tonight. We're going to tell some stuff tonight. You know, OU's got to look better offensively. OU's got to look the same defensively. They can't take a step back defensively, but they got to look a lot better offensively. Or, you know, after the live, when I'm on here and Jeremy's on here, we're all on here talking about instant reaction of the game, that it's not going to be pretty if the offense doesn't look better. So, and we will be going live. Jeremy will be on the live right after, from the stadium, right after the game, probably 10 minutes after the game ends. So make sure you join us. Jeremy will be on here. We'll be talking the game from his point of view as well. He's at the game, the atmosphere, what he saw and everything. So make sure you join us after the game, directly after. It'll be a late night. We'll go long. Michigan looked like they did before they got a 5-star quarterback like McCarthy. Yeah, they didn't look good offensively. Hit the like button. It does help the channel. Also, the Fan Stop. You see the logo in the top corner there. If you go to the Fan Stop, www.thefanstop.com, check them out. They got great officially licensed OU merchandise, some great looking OU Texas hats with the upside down Longhorn. You also have the shirt of the month, which you get a new shirt every month, new color, new design. Great. Use code SURGE. You'll get 10% off your first 3 months. Yeah, I agree, Craig. I think Texas could be – Texas – here's the thing about Texas. Whether people want to admit it or not, Steve Sarkisian has changed that program to the better. They're a better program. They're winning games like Alabama last year, Michigan on the road. Those are 2 road games, and they beat both of them. So they're on their way. I mean, they made the playoff last year, so they're kind of building that program now. OU needs to stick right there with OU. Brent Venables needs to do the same thing at Oklahoma. OU didn't have to go as far, because they've been good, but Texas had to get back there. And I agree, Jimmy. With all that being said, Texas still sucks, period. I agree with that. I'm an OU fan. Of course I'm going to agree with that. K-State surprised me today. Didn't look great, but they got the win. But I also think Tulane's a good team. It will be a good game. Probably be able to hear Jerm on the TV broadcast. You might be able to. I need to find out where his seats were. He went over. They were just at Steve Stutzman's tailgate. By the way, Steve Stutzman will be back Sunday night. He's on Sunday nights with us. He'll be back to talk about the game. Also, former running back Daniel Brooks will be back on to talk some next week. So make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you subscribe and you turn on the notifications, every time a video is released or we go live, you'll get a notification. You don't want to miss all the stuff going on. So make sure you do that. I think Tatum is the best back, Doug says. Remains to be seen. Talent-wise, I agree. Is he right now? We'll see. I think he looked really good the other day. Didn't really have to run through a whole lot of garbage. He kind of had some lanes, so we'll see. Jeremy needs to bring his Trump. Oh, gosh, that was bad last night, Michael. Don't bring that up again. Yeah, Alan says something interesting. He says Texas won't be able to stop Georgia. Question is, can Georgia slow down Texas? I don't know. I thought Texas looked pretty good on both sides of the ball today, but I know Michigan's not a great offense. Let's talk about defensive backs for a minute. Hey, Chester, I can't stay on that long. That's a long time to do it by yourself, but I'll see what I can do. Let's talk about defensive backs. I'm interested in your thought. You saw the depth chart. Woody Washington, is he playing tonight? First off, what do you think? And same with Gentry Williams. He played last week, but didn't get a whole lot of run. Like, reality check here. Reality check. Who's the top two corners on this team? Last week, they threw out Des Malone and Kenai Walker. Woody Gentry played, didn't start. Played some, though, coming off an injury. Woody, still a little bit bruised, banged up, said he could have played. Okay, if everybody's healthy, who are the two you're going with? Who are the two you're saying, these are my two that I'm going with? There's a few things I like about what I saw last week. And this is where, Chester, I'm kind of in agreement with you here. I really like Woody Washington. But size-wise, man, Kenai, Gentry, Des Malone, all of those size-wise, I like seeing the big cornerbacks out there. But Woody is very talented on coverage. I don't know. I just find it interesting. I wonder what they're going to do there. He says if they're healthy, Gentry Williams and Woody Washington will lock you up. Yeah, both of them. Okay, but here's my thing. Yeah, he can't stay healthy sooner, Cowboy. Here's my thing. I could really see it this year with the way Zach Alley likes to rotate players and Brent Venables. If you feel like you, and this is what I've always wondered, unless you have a guy like, in the NFL when it was Deion Sanders, you could say Travis. If you have just a professional lockdown corner, I get it, keep him in. But if you have like four guys that can play and they're all pretty similar, I mean, I've played cornerback, not in tackle football, but flag football. And when you're covering guys all the time, it gets very exhausting. To me, if you got four guys you're happy with, rotate them in. Let healthy guys, let rested guys get in there and cover. Plus, it gives the receivers something different. They don't really know your tendencies as much. I would love for them to rotate guys a lot. I know they do it up front. They do it on the defensive line. They do it on the defensive back. But Jacoby Johnson is another one. We haven't really mentioned his name. You will need that depth because it's a long season. It is. How much will David Stone play? Let's get to some of these comments. How much will David Stone play? I think he'll play about what he did last week, maybe a few snaps more. So I don't know what that was, maybe 15 or 20 snaps. Went to Washington. Thanks, Sooner, for answering that. Sorry, bro. I'm trying to keep up with these comments by myself. Anytime y'all see that and you know the answer, put it in there. I appreciate your help. Stone gets 20 snaps, I hope. I would agree. Defensive line, Jaden Jackson looked really good. If you went back and watched it, I did. I watched it a couple of times. He looked really impressive on the front, as did DeJohn Terry and Dominique Williams. Dominique Williams didn't get talked about that much, but he played really well from what I watched. He plugged up the middle. Even when he didn't make the tackle, it's the penetration. That's what he was getting. Maybe at Cal, playing Auburn right now. Oh, maybe it is Cal. What's the score on Cal and Auburn, and what's the score on Notre Dame? I'd love to know. Keep me updated. Okay, this is a great question. We've talked about this week on some of our live space. Thanks for joining. Great question. Is PJ just not what we thought he was, or is it too early to say? Here, I'll say a couple things on PJ Adebawore. And thanks for the update, Jeremy or Hunter, whoever this is, or Jackson. Beautiful weather, breezy. There we go. I think PJ Adebawore, I think he's coming off some nagging ankle injuries. I think, he's interesting because he's kind of a unicorn the way his size is. He's a very tall, lanky individual out there. And I think he's very talented, and maybe he just hasn't put it together yet. Because I will tell you, after watching the game again last week, I heard a few people say they weren't impressed with R. Mason Thomas. I went back and watched the game. R. Mason Thomas probably played one of his best games he's played in Oklahoma. I thought R. Mason Thomas looked great. He looked way more physical than he's been his first 2 years at Oklahoma. He made plays in the interior. He made plays on the outside. I thought he looked like he kind of maybe has figured it out. So I was really happy with what R. Mason Thomas did last week. You know what you're getting in Ethan Downs. You know what you're getting. You know, maybe now you know what you're getting in R. Mason Thomas. And you're right, finally. And maybe that's what it is with PJ, guys. Maybe R. Mason Thomas, it took him a bit. You can't forget, PJ Adebawore, this is year 2. Year 2. This is not like a 3-year player now or a 4-year player. Last year, he was a freshman, okay? He has plenty of time to develop into a great player. And he could even develop by the end of this year, I think. I mean, he's going to get his chances. He only got 13 snaps last week. That's not a lot. But I think he could get maybe 20. I think he could get 20. Yeah, let's get loud, Sooner Nation. Let's break the sack record tonight. Apollo, R. Mason Thomas is our best edge guy currently. Between him and Downs, I think, yeah, that's what you got. I listen to Trace Ford. If y'all listen to Sports Animal, he's on the Sports Animal every Thursday morning. I believe at 7:45 in the morning. He talked about this is the most confident he's ever been with his game. He said he feels healthy, he feels quick, and he knows what he's doing on defense. And I don't think last week when you look at Trace Ford that he was just over the top amazing, but I think he was in the right spots. I think he batted the ball down. I think he's gonna be a great addition. I think he'll have a better year than he did last year for the rotation piece of it. I'm not worried about interior defensive linemen. I'm not worried about the edge rushers. I'm not worried about the linebackers. I'm not worried about the safeties. In fact, I'm probably not worried about defensive back, but out of that whole defensive unit, I think probably defensive back would be the one question right now. I say I need to see more of different guys to see who they're going to go with rotationally wise, to see who the starters are going to be. I think everything else is kind of locked down, but I'm interested to see what they got back there at the defensive back when they play a team that can throw the ball. It's not going to be tonight. They're going to light up Houston. They ought to get some turnovers again. Again tonight. But the defense, really, defensively, I'm not concerned at all. I think this is going to be the best defense OU's had in a long time. I think there'll be a top 3 defense in the SEC. You could put Georgia up there, and I would probably say Bama. But yeah, so I'm seeing some stuff. I don't know what I'm seeing on the Discord right now, but Dalpost, you're on the Discord. I cannot see it because I'm on this live. Whatever I just read on there, if you can update me what that is, appreciate it. And by the way, if you're not in our Discord, you can join it. There's a link in the description. You can join the unlimited membership and then join the Discord. We chat in there 24/7. It's great entertainment. It's great. It's a great community. So I feel like this could potentially be the best defense we've had in the last 10 to 15 years. Okay, that's what it's about. In the Discord, talking about Cortez Mills did visit Nebraska, apparently. So if Cortez Mills visited Nebraska, he's no longer committed to Oklahoma. Am I right? Join the Discord, Gary says. Please do. It would be great. It's not difficult. Go do it. Sign up like that. Be on there. So if Cortez Mills, the receiver that committed to Oklahoma, is at the Nebraska-Colorado game, I'm probably going to say I'm not feeling very comfortable because that would mean he's no longer committed to Oklahoma per Brent Venables' policy. So he gone, Craig says. He gone, I'm nut says. Mike Alter said, hit the like. Everyone helps the Sooner Surge. It does help the community out. Space, what do you think about Kobe McKenzie? Run D is great, but that tuna. I would agree with that. I think his run D is one of the best they have on the team. I think he's gotten better in the pass game. I think he was better last week. I know it wasn't against a great opponent, but I think it was better. I think he's a bigger linebacker, but I really like Kobe McKenzie. I think he's made strides every year, and that's what you can say about him. I mean, I don't like to compare players a lot, but when you have, let's just compare Kobe McKenzie, Kip Lewis, and Jaron Kanik. I mean, 2 of those guys have made big strides. I don't think Kanik has made big enough strides, and that's why he's not playing as much. So you can't doubt that with Kobe McKenzie. Hopefully OU kicks the tires with the Decory more. Yeah, we'll see. Hey, the hub, you know what? It probably is an official visit from what I've heard, but even if not, you're committed to Oklahoma. And I get really tired of hearing about it. I get really tired of hearing about the policy of Brent Venables and why that's a stupid policy. Why should he do that? If the kid wants to go visit, go visit. Well, here's what I have to say to that. You can take as many visits as you want. Just don't commit to Oklahoma first. In fact, I've read multiple quotes from Brent Venables where he said he has tried to talk to recruits into not committing to Oklahoma until they take more visits. You sure you're ready? You sure you're ready? It's not that difficult. If you knew you might want to go visit Nebraska earlier in this year, why did you commit to Oklahoma? You know the policy. You know the policy. If you commit, don't take visits. So if you want to take visits, don't commit till December. You can go to every game in the college football season you want to go to. I get tired of hearing about it. It's not that difficult. It's not difficult at all. Don't commit. Tired of hearing about it. It's a great policy, Chester said. Parker student has said they will look somewhere else if Mill goes on the visit. There you go. Who has the most rushing yards this game? I'm sticking with Javante Barnes. I think Javante Barnes is a Sooner standout today. I think he is the most yards rushing. Let's hope it's over 100 yards because it is an absolute crime that they could not get a running back over 100 yards last week against Temple. I mean, you got to get a running back over 100 yards. Do what you can. Get a running back. I mean, that's ridiculous. This is Houston. You should run the ball. You should score points on them. Yeah, it's not that hard, Apollo. I think the policy is great. And Cortez Mills, I mean, you're committed to Oklahoma. If you made that visit, you must not want to go to Oklahoma anymore. So, because you know the policy. That's right. Running game fine. We'll see. I hope so. Do you think any of the pups shine in the wide receiver? I do. And I'm going to go with the guy today that I think is going to shine. I think watch out for Zion Kearney. Okay? There hasn't been anybody talking about him. They've talked about Zion Reagans, talked about Jaquez Petaway. But don't forget, Zion Kearney was the highest rated receiver out of the recruiting class last year, if I remember right. I think, and this is why, I would love to have 2 minutes. This is why Space, would you rather see Zion Kearney or Petaway? I like both of them more than Hester. In fact, when I saw J.J. Hester's name as a starter on the depth chart, I almost blew a gasket. I was not happy with it. That's just me personally. I'm an OU fan. I'm not a coach. I can have particular players I like more, but Hester, to me, hasn't done anything since he's been at OU. Yes, he's been injured. I get it. He's been injured. But he had his chance last week and didn't play well at all. Petaway, I think, needs an opportunity. But the guy I really want to see is Zion Kearney. He's bigger. He's got speed. I think he's kind of a guy that would fit that Farouk mold. I would love to see Zion Kearney. Navy's up 38-3 over Temple, and they've probably ran the ball really well if it's Navy in that option attack. There it is. Student posted a video of Mills and Mosey on the field with Nebraska coach. Okay. So that would tell me official. Let's see. Hope the O-line is ready to battle and dominate. They got to be ready. They got to be better tonight. Aaron, you're right. They have to be better. It's time to put up or shut up. I think J.J. Hester will break it eventually, possibly line. Now, Apollo 9, with what I said earlier, I said I wasn't a huge J.J. Hester fan. At the same time, I think it would be great if he did that because, quite honestly, if he doesn't do that, I have a lot of concern because how many people, media member that have went to practices and you've heard coaches talk about J.J. Hester like he's just had the best fall camp. It's like, is that true, or is he a practice guy and not a game guy? I mean, I don't know. I don't want to talk about Mosey as well. Hickman back. We're waiting to see. If I hear anything while I'm on this live, I will update you guys. We've got 2 guys from Sooner Church at the game. They're supposed to be sending me some text messages as soon as they see what they see there at the stadium. 2 turnovers. Yeah, that gives them 8 on the year. No. Well, I don't want to answer no, but not that I know of, Aaron. I don't believe so. I don't believe they are. 21-7 Cal over Auburn. By the way, that game's in Auburn. And Peyton Thorne, he doesn't look very good. Auburn, both sides of the ball don't look that great. And dare I say this, there might be some upset people, but I've said it probably for 10 years. I think the SEC, once again, is top heavy. I do not think that every year I think the SEC gets a lot of credit. And hey, OU's in the SEC. I get it. But you know what? The SEC, in my opinion, has always been top 4 or 5 heavy, and then the rest of them are average Joes. And that's just my opinion. I've watched too many games where SEC teams, like you could go down the list, Mississippi State, South Carolina, Kentucky, Arkansas. There's been a lot of those teams that they get credit because they're, quote, in the SEC. They're in the SEC. But and Texas A&M, they're in the SEC. When they play other teams, look what happened. I mean, Auburn's losing to Cal. Cal's not even in the conference, are they? Is Cal even in a conference? No. Who else did I watch? Arkansas should have beat OSU. They put up almost 700 yards offense on them. They didn't lose. They lost to the Big 12 team. Okay, so, and I know that game's a little weird because Arkansas should have won the game, but Arkansas's not good. I mean, so Mississippi State's, they're average, and I think some of these teams just get credit because in the SEC. And that's coming from a guy who now OU's in the SEC, but I do think it's top heavy. I think you got about 5 or 6. Oh, yeah, Cal's ACC. You're right, Sooner Cowboy. I don't know how I forgot that. Yeah, they may be the best team in the ACC. Jeez. Miami and Cal may be the best teams. Thanks, Sooner Cowboy, for correcting me on that. I appreciate it. And Jimmy, thank y'all. Keep me on my toes, man. I'm trying to do this live. Arkansas had one job and they failed. That's right. Hey, I'm wrong. You're way off. It's week 2. Hey, Scott, and I know you're a Tennessee fan. Tell me teams that are outside of the top 7 in the conference that are any good at all. Now I think that, listen, I will agree with you one thing. They are deeper this year because you do have OU and Texas. But in years past, without OU Texas, I think they went 5 deep. And I'm not saying that's not good. SEC is the best conference, guys. I agree with it. SEC wins championships. They have the top heavy, and they're really good teams. I just think the bottom teams haven't been good for a long time. I'm sorry, they haven't been. Scott, I'm not wrong on that. Tell me I'm wrong on that. I understand NFL draft-wise, but do you think that the bottom feeders of the SEC are good teams? I mean, that they're average. They're average. They're about like, to me, they're about like Texas Tech's. Am I wrong? Maybe I am wrong. Scott, maybe I am wrong. And I could very well be wrong. I'm just saying from what I've seen from some of those bottom feeders. Now, do not get me wrong, Scott, and do not take it the wrong way, and do not change what I'm saying. Okay? Do not change what I'm saying here. Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, LSU, OU, Texas. I'm thinking off the top of my head here. Who am I missing? I'm missing a few. Ole Miss. Missouri this year and last year, okay. But they were average before that. Okay. Auburn hasn't done anything since Gus Malzahn left. Have they? So Florida, they haven't done anything in a while. Now, would you say Florida's better than Texas Tech? Heck, I mean, are those teams better than Heck? Yeah. So you're right, Scott. You're right, Scott. You're right on this. I can admit when I'm wrong. I think I said top 4 or 5. Yeah. At least 70. That's still pretty deep, I guess. Okay. Hey, see, Scott, I can argue and debate and figure out, because I'm talking on this live show, trying to talk off the top of my head. And now as I think about it, yeah, they're 7, 8 deep. But I still think the bottom teams aren't very good. And the bad thing about Oklahoma is they don't get any of the bottom teams except South Carolina. Scott says the thing is the top teams cycle out, the bottom feeders stay the same. Yeah, that's true. Vanderbilt. Yeah, Vanderbilt had a big win last week. And you know what? As I'm sitting here thinking about this, I'm talking out of the side of my mouth probably, but I guess if you go to most conferences, the bottom feeders aren't very good. So, you know what? I'm not ready to wipe the floor with Auburn yet. I'm not ready to say they're done. Okay? I'm not ready to say that because I think this is one game. It's an anomaly. Are they going to be a top-tier SEC team this year or next? No. But I do think Hugh Freeze is a good coach, and he can turn it around. Texas A&M, yeah. Updates, guys. Update me. Notre Dame score. Right now, what's the score in that game? Is it still 14-13? That game's got to be about over with, doesn't it? What about Tyler Keltner, OU kicker? Can he do it again this week, or was that an anomaly last week? Was that something rare, or is that going to stick every week as a kicker at Oklahoma? Hey, Scott, I appreciate you calling me out because, hey, you correct me, man. I like it. It's what we do here on the Sooner Surge. At least that's what I do. And y'all correct me on it. That's good. Still 14-13, guys. Golly. This is shocking to me. But is this typical Marcus Freeman? I mean, is this a typical Marcus Freeman performance for Notre Dame? Notre Dame threw an interception. So who's got the ball? Somebody help me out here. I'm going to stay on this live until that game's over for y'all. Appreciate it. Got a bunch of you on here tonight. Hey, couple things. Hit the like button, please. Also, man, share Sooner Surge with your friends and family. It's a growing community. We try to talk SEC, all teams besides OU, but we're specifically OU, and you guys carry it. The Sooner Surgeaholics carry the chat, so appreciate it. Space says, Northern Illinois has the ball at midfield, 5 minutes left. Wow. And they already missed one field goal, a long one. So parity of college football. Okay, this is a great topic. I mean, transfer portal has lent its hand to more parity. You have to admit that. A lot more parity. Typical Notre stain. Yeah, that's right. I would love Notre Dame to lose that game. Here's the deal. If Notre Dame loses that game, and to me, if they lose that game and then they slip up one more time, which they probably would, their playoff chances are bye-bye. And you know what that does? If you're a Big Ten or an SEC fan, it gives you another bid. Because right now, looking at the conferences, ACC, they ain't it. Okay, now maybe Cal. But Big 12, can the Big 12 get two? I don't think so. I think Utah right now, to me, Utah looks like the best Big 12 team. Although BYU may surprise some people. I was not impressed with K-State. We'll find out Colorado tonight. I think it's going to get it handed to them. I think Colorado is going to get it handed to them tonight in Nebraska. Watch. I think so. And by the way, if you follow this channel at all and you listen to my picks, you need to go lay money on Colorado right now, okay? Because you see the beard coming in. That's off a bet I made that's wrong. So if you bet in person, please go opposite of me because it's usually wrong. You need to go opposite. If Notre Dame loses this game, I don't even think they make the playoffs, even if they win out. Now, that's a great point. If you lose to Northern Illinois at home, should you even get in? Because their schedule, I don't know if anybody's looked at the schedule. It's not a tough schedule. I think USC beats them. I think USC beats them this year. Oh, yeah, Lori, bunk cakes are the best. Oh, you're making me hungry, Lori. Hit the like button. Appreciate it. What else are you looking for? First down, Northern Illinois. Thanks for the play-by-play guy. What else are you looking for tonight's game? I think number one that everybody's looking for, offensive line. That's it. I mean, unless you've hit under a rock for the last week, it's offensive line. And you know what? To me, it's not about – I need to see some physical edge and some nastiness. Somebody said it earlier. You need to see some physical up front. I felt like they were almost like inviting the defensive line instead of attacking the defensive line last week. Get a hold of somebody, drive them to the ground, and move the ball. I want to see a little bit more urgency from the O-line. I didn't think they had very much urgency last week. And it's not just the O-line. Urgency from the offense, period. And whether it be down the field, whether it be in the running game, be a little more urgent on offense. Establish your identity. Let's see what you got. Scott, I think it's going to be a tight game, bro. You know what? And here's what I want to say, because I've said before that I think Jackson Arnold will struggle in some road games. There's a good chance he may struggle at Auburn, even though after watching Auburn today, they don't look great. But anytime you go on the road and as basically a freshman quarterback, I know him and Nico are not freshmen, but because they played a little bit last year, not much, but in the bowl games. But I do not want to hear people say after Nico, if say for instance, I'm not saying this can happen, but say Nico goes into NC State and he throws a couple picks, he looks okay, but has a bad game. If people just say, "Oh, he sucks," I mean, that's ridiculous. It's a young quarterback; they're gonna make mistakes. Not many young quarterbacks don't make mistakes. So I think you got to give some of these guys that are very talented. They're gonna make mistakes. I mean, so we'll see what Nico does. I thought Nico looked outstanding last week. Man, he looked really good. And Josh Heupel's offense, let's say this. I think Jeff Lebby was a really good offensive coordinator. I know a lot of people don't. But I think Josh Heupel brings out the best in quarterbacks. I think now you got Lincoln Riley, who I think is top tier. I think Josh Heupel is right there. I think Josh Heupel, with what he does offensively, I think on game day this morning, Nick Saban was talking about how he simplifies it so easy for the quarterback that they're not having to do a whole lot of pre-snap reads, which makes a difference for a young quarterback for sure. 3rd and 4 for Northern Illinois at Notre Dame's 33. Huge play. Let's get it, Northern Illinois. Let's get it. Wow. This may be the biggest shock of the day for me. I had written South Carolina off after last week. They looked like trash last week. And this again, I know we talk about it in the Discord. By the way, a little plug for the Discord. Go sign up for it. Link in the description. But one game does not make a season. I've seen it too many overreactions when teams play great, and I've seen it when teams haven't played good. People say they're done. They're dogs. They're not any good. So I think one game does not make it. Just like South Carolina last week, I had written them off completely after that game against Old Dominion, and here they are dominating. By the way, that game's at Kentucky. You know what? I think Mark Stoops should have taken the A&M job. Personally, I don't think you can get Kentucky past a certain level. It's kind of like Mississippi State, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, Kentucky. I just think you have a level that you can get to, and you can't get any better. And I just think it's almost the way I think of OU basketball, guys and gals. I feel like OU basketball, they could have a season or two where they'd be great. And like they've had Buddy Hield and some other years where they've gotten to the national championship, made great runs. But can they consistently be at that level? I don't know. So a Heupel better than Lebby. I think I would agree with that. Only 8 interceptions in 3 years. He makes it simple. Now that's true, Chester. He does not have to win. He does. He's a very safe. It's a safe job. It's a basketball school. All right. So somebody up, maybe 4th and 2 from the 33. You got to go for that, don't you? You don't kick a field goal, do you? Somebody update me. I mean, it's pretty much the game after field goal. He's making bank, no exceptions. A&M would be fired in 3 at K. Yeah, you're right. Now that's true, for sure. I had a thought today as I was watching Arkansas, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. But watching Arkansas and watching Bobby Petrino, if you were a head coach, do you think you're better off hiring an offensive and a defensive just masterminds that are guys that probably don't want to go in and move up to next coaching? They want to, for instance, maybe you get a guy that just freaking loves to coach defense, or a guy that just freaking loves to coach offense, and they are great at it. You pay them a buttload of money, ton of money, to do that only and do that well. And then you don't have to worry about it. Because I think about that with Petrino. I don't think Pittman's a guy for the job, but man, I'd pay Petrino a good amount of money and say, you run the offense and you stay here for 5-10 years. Same with defense. I don't think I'd want a revolving door on offense or defensive. Salukis, baby. Let's go. Get him. They converted the first down. Hey, I get that, Scott. But don't you think he wants to move on, though? Oh, Lebby. You're talking about Lebby. Yeah, he runs his offense. That's what I'm saying. Oh, you had Lady, but he was wanting to move on to bigger, better things. And Coconut Greg, I disagree. I think it does exist. Look at Michigan. Wink Martindale, the defensive coordinator. Now he's older. I get it. It probably doesn't. It doesn't exist with younger coaches. Probably, I would agree. Although I think Seth Luttrell, guys, he's already done the head coaching thing. Do you think he's a guy that would stick around for 10 years at Oklahoma as OC, or do you think he wants to be back a head coach? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. If he has a great offense, maybe he's a guy that would stick around for a while. I don't know. So it's just an interesting question to pose. Give me your hot take right now. We have about 10 minutes left on this live before we get off here and get ready, get your food going. I don't know what everybody's cooking tonight, but man, these are not Christmas lights, Ron. These are crimson lights. They're not Christmas lights. What do you got on the grill? What do you got going for the net game? What is the score on UNLV? It was 28-7. Earlier in the first quarter, they were destroying. But hot take for tonight. Go. Drop the hot take. Aaron says 31-10 Oklahoma. Hot take tonight, I'm going to go and say it. You ready for this? Hot take. Billy Bowman gets a pick six. And Billy Bowman runs a punt or kickoff for a touchdown. That's my hot take. He's going to get 2 tutties tonight. How about that? Because you got to have a hot take. You can't say a warm take. You can't say a mild take. You can't say a lukewarm take. You can't say a cool take. It's got to be a hot take, something that you wouldn't expect to happen. Yeah, isn't that a great name, though? That is a great name. Ribeye from Mexico. Wow. Best chili on the planet. Chili sounds pretty good. A little bit warm. By the way, the weather's elite tonight. Elite for the game. 63-0 Oklahoma, 56-0 Oklahoma. 45-13. Burks has 3 TDs with 2 of them being 40-plus yards. Set a school record for sacks. This is some great stuff. Tight end goes for 3 TDs. This is some great stuff, guys. Hot take. Jackson freaking Arnold rushes for 2 touchdowns. I love how he's just inherited that name. I put through a different word in there, though. 31-10, 48-7, 72-14, Apollo 9 says. Some great stuff. Update me, guys, gals. Notre Dame, what's happening? The game starts 6:45 SEC Network. I feel sorry for anybody who has DirecTV. Get rid of it. Get rid of DirecTV because you won't be able to watch the game. 2 100-yard rushers. I like that. 52-3. Put pump back return for touching. Jackson Arnold will get the start if healthy. There you go, Ron. Ron, if you guys and gals, if you're not on our nightly lives, by the way, if you're new to this channel, every single night of the week we go on at 9:30. Ron's on here every night, and he says the same stuff like that. These sarcastic remarks. I love it. It's great. Hot take, Javonte Barnes, 150 yards rushing. Franklin with the touchdown. There you go. OU 27-24 in a dogfight. I can promise you this, I'm nuts. If that happens, the live show tonight after the game, 10 minutes after the game ends, we will have to check on Jeremy because we will all be losing our ever-loving mind. If that happens, we will be losing our ever-loving mind after what we just watched. So either way, the live after the game tonight is going to be great. I expect all y'all to be on here. I know it's a late game. Don't go to bed after the game. Listen, you're not going to find another station where you can listen to instant reaction and talk about it with a community like this right after the game. There's not one out there. Now, I listen to all the podcasts. There's great podcasts out there, but they don't go out till later. They don't go out till later in the night or tomorrow morning. Make sure you come on here after the game. We'll be live and you can chat with us. That's one of my favorite things to do all season is to see the viewers and the fans, what they think about the game. I think it's great. Jeremy is in Norman. I've texted to see if he's checking in. He has not yet. We'll see, but sounds like Notre Dame, Northern Illinois may win this game. Carry us through, guys. Carry us through, guys and gals. Let's get this victory for Northern Illinois. O-line dominates. Hot take. That would be a hot take. I would agree with that. That would be a hot take because after last week, it would probably be a hot take. How does Jackson Arnold do tonight? I thought he played good last week. I I thought they played really good last week. He did. So I think he takes another step this week. And here's the thing. You just can't turn the ball over because turnovers will get you beat. They won't get you beat this game, but you got to think about the future down the road here in the SEC. Turnovers will kill you. Impressive. Sooner Surge is something you are a part of, not just watch. That's right. And Coconut Greg, that pretty much says it perfectly. And that's what we try to do is get as many comments. And I apologize. First off, I apologize for tonight. By myself, it's hard to do them all, but I'm trying to get as many as I can. So appreciate you guys being patient with me. Southern Illinois are Salukis. Northern Illinois are Huskies. There you go. Thank you. Sooner Surge rules. My after party ever game. Jackson freaking Arnold will dominate. 15 for 22, 55. Some good stuff there, guys and gals. Dominate. How about this? Will Jackson Arnold throw for over 300 yards tonight? That's the question for you in the chat. Will Jackson Arnold throw for over 300 yards tonight? We'll see. That they got to open it up some for that. And by the way, yeah, Boomer Sooner forever, Tardy B. By the way, you got to throw the ball down the field a little bit. Deion Burks, he had 6 targets last week, 3 touchdowns. To me, he's the guy that's got to touch the ball 10 times. I mean, you were throwing it to Drake Stoops 10 to 12 times. You got to throw the ball to Deion Burks 10 times. I don't care who you're playing. Getting the ball. Unfair Sports says under 300 early. Wow, okay. Easily. Okay, easily. So think he's going under there. Unfair Sports going with the under 300. I think it's a weird deal because, last week they had a lot of short fields. And whether or not they open it up will be telling tonight. I think because I think you got receivers injured, but I think you got to kind of see what you have. You can't, we talked about this on our lives this week. You cannot, I don't think you can wait till Tennessee. I don't think you can wait till Tulane next week. I think get some stuff out there and see what you got with some of these guys, because if they're injured against Houston, what's to say they're going to be ready to go against Tulane? What's to say? Wow, Northern Illinois just won. Are you kidding me? Cortez Mills visiting Nebraska. We talked about this earlier. Hey, Unfair Sports says no reason to open the book versus one of the worst teams in college football. I'm not saying you open up the playbook completely, but why not do some more things? I mean, because I know it's Houston. You should win running sweep left and sweep right, but they couldn't block last week running at vanilla. I'm just saying, maybe you see what you have with some of these guys in the receiver core. You're not going to see that running 4-yard hook patterns. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not saying you do it the whole game. I'm just saying take some chances early. At least throw the ball downfield more than 3 times, which they did last week. That's all I would say. Yeah, run your offense. It ain't rocket science. I agree, Scott. I'm different, though. In Unfair Sports, I see what you're saying. There's been a lot of people on our lives this week saying that. But I've always been a person to think, run your offense. You don't run any trickery. You keep some stuff hidden. I get it. But you can run your offense in general and block it well and play well. Yeah, Jay and Coop with Unfair Sports. Their show's good. I like it a lot. Who will play center this week? That's the question. I don't know. It depends on injuries. To me, if Hickman can't go, I would love to see Josh Bates. I would love to see Josh Bates because you've heard the talk about him. Yeah, he's been injured, but to me, you're better off getting Bates out there than trying to move everything around. And Hatchett, I don't think Hatchett's healthy either. I mean, he didn't look that healthy last year. I think it was Gabe Eichert saying his left arm he wasn't using very much. So I don't know. We'll see. Did Northern Illinois win the game? Somebody tell me if Northern Illinois won the game. I would love to know. Does D. Burks get 100-plus yards today? Gosh. I think he catches a longer pass, so I will say yes. Here's what I say. Jackson Arnold for over 300, and Deion Burks gets 100 of those. That's what I would say right now, just talking on top of my head. No game, not over. So it's not over yet. I don't think Anderson plays tonight, Coconut Greg. I just don't. Hey, Aaron, I agree, but you have to do it every once in a while. You have to do it. Please. Yeah, I think the jet sweep is fine with certain occasions. You just can't do it. You can't overdo it. You can't overdo it. Aaron says have to play Bates. We'll see what they do. I mean, I haven't seen any injury updates tonight, so it's hard to know. But we'll see. I just think sometimes you're better off playing your backup center than moving everybody around. You know my feelings. I don't like Sexton at guard. I'd rather Sexton be at tackle. So anything you can do to get Sexton at tackle, if that's play Bates at center and put Ozida at guard, I love me some Heath Ozida. I think I would love to see him get an opportunity. 20 seconds left. Where is the ball? That's what I'd like to know. And I'd like to know where the ball is. 19 seconds left. I told you I'd stay on here until this game's over, but Notre Dame with the ball. There it is, Sooner Cowboy. Any more hot takes before we close this? We're at an hour. We are an hour from kickoff. Here's a couple things to note. Okay, the throwback uniforms will be worn tonight. I'd love to see them. It's going to be great. I like alternate uniforms if they're throwbacks. I don't like any other alternate uniform. Fanstop, check them out. www.thefanstop.com. Officially licensed merchandise. Great looking stuff. I mean, you gotta check it out. If you don't want to sign up for the Shirt of the Month Club, you can still buy merchandise on there. The Shirt of the Month, you get 10% off if you use code Surge for the first 3 months. They have some sweet looking OU Texas hats with the upside down Longhorn. Go check them out. I got mine. Check them out. Also, couple things. If you're not in our Discord, go to the link in the description. You can sign up for it by signing up for the unlimited membership. It's a great community. It's like this, but we all talk 24/7. It's great stuff. Be a part of it in the description. Okay. And then also after the game tonight, we'll be live. We will be live tonight, right after the game. Make sure you join us. Jeremy will be on here. I'm interested to see what he thinks being at the game. So he'll be on here to talk all about it in his normal fired up way. So there it is right there. Micah says 44-yard line in Northern Illinois from Notre Dame, 9 seconds left. 5 seconds left. Yeah, I'm not getting off here until this game's over because I don't think that'd be right to leave this with 5 seconds left. So appreciate the Surgeaholics pulling me through here. Pull us through with the Notre Dame loss. Let's take the L, Notre Dame. That's what I'm hoping for. 3rd and 10. But are they in? They're not in field goal range, are they? Oh, here we go. Long field goal try coming. Wow. I've never. J.D. Reynolds, terrific player. He was unbelievable. I love J.D. Reynolds. I believe he's a coaching right now in high school. Maybe wrong. Best podcast for OU News right here. Thanks, Aaron. Appreciate it. Really, it's people like you guys. It's not us. I mean, we're just chatting. It's fun. It's fun to talk sports and OU with you guys. So that's all we're doing. 61-yard try. Wow. If he makes this, oh, wow. Unbelievable. So here's the deal. Marcus Freeman last week, everybody had him up here. Now what? Now what do you say about Marcus Freeman? Wow. One game does not make a season. If anything, you can say that after this game. Ladies and gentlemen, one game does not make a season. Do not overreact. Do not underreact. Take it as one game at a time. If you're OU, go out there, dominate tonight. Take it one game at a time and win. We will see everybody after the live tonight. Be here. 10 minutes after the live, we'll be on. Appreciate you guys. Hit the like button. Talk to you later.